Faithful, faithful, faithful. The offensive line workouts just wrapped up at the NFL Combine, and I'm telling you right now, the draft board absolutely shifted. Some prospects helped themselves big time. Few guys may have played themselves out of early rounds, and if you're a 49ers fan, today told us exactly who actually fits Kyle Shanahan's system. All right. We're breaking down the biggest risers, the biggest fallers, and the offensive linemen San Francisco should have their eyes on after what we just saw in Indy. What's good, faithful? It's your boy, Wayne Breezie, and welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. Before we start, I need to know what matters more for the 49ers offensive line. What matters more for the 49ers offensive line? Is it athleticism or power? Is it athleticism or power? Drop it in the chat right now. What's going on, man? What a great 4 days of NFL Combine content. It's the first year that I covered the Combine this extensively, like where I'm just doing shows and going back and forth and blah, 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 and all that good stuff, right? So it's the first time I'm actually doing that, and I'm actually happy. I'm not even going to lie. A lot of good prospects. Can't wait to break down my top 10 for every single position group. That's going to be coming up before free agency kicks off. So I got a lot of work to do right here. But just to recap, day 1, day 2, day 3, lots of players that will fit the 49ers literally like a glove. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Shout out to everybody that's watching live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Appreciate you. The Breezy Bunch crew, you're in the building. I don't have my sound effects, but you know who you are. And if I see you, let's talk about. Let's go. Jack's in the building. Hey, Wayne and Faithful. Hope everyone is enjoying the great off-season combine, next free agency. Yes, the free agency is coming up, and then we get the draft in April. Yeah. And thank you, Jax, for being a member. 34 months. Gotta love it here. To been here this long, the best show ever. Great work, WPB. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, now I asked you guys to comment in the chat. I got a lot of powers. And the question was simply, what matters more? Is it power or athleticism? Now, that's a tough question, because when you look at the offensive line, we want the offensive line to definitely be powerful, especially when we talk about gap runs and all that type of stuff. Like, that's hell of important. So power is important. But if they can't move and they can't kick out, the Niners run a wide zone offense, right? So wide zone meaning they have to have athletic offensive linemen to kick out to the outside. You saw some of the drills today, the extensive pull drills where they were kicking all the way out. That's the Niners offense. And if you don't have the athleticism and the 10-yard split, and those are some of the things you definitely got to look forward for, 10-yard split, athleticism, those specific types of things, because without those, it's a wrap. Like if that 10-yard split, if that burst isn't there, it's a wrap. They're not going to fit the 49ers. So there's several players today that I thought came out and looked really good, and that I think would fit the 49ers just based off of what they ran in the 40. And then there's the 3-cone drill. How well can these guys, maneuver and change direction? There's so many different things, so many different things to look into, but we'll focus on a couple of those things for sure on today's episode. So again, man, drop it in, man, where you guys coming from, chiming in from. Love to do a little roll call later on in the show. But let's go ahead and get to the biggest winners. And again, like I said, I see a lot of power comments in there. Don't sleep on the athleticism, all right? We're going to do something a little bit different on the show. I will be posting super chat comments because we're a live show. Shout out to Jax Knox. I don't have my sound effects hooked up, but keep up the great work. Thank you, Jax, and appreciate you. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. And so I like Joel's comments. Says power wins on the goal line, 3rd and 4th, and shorts. For sure. Well, we not getting to that without the athletic guys. It's a weird thing, right? Yeah, you want the bigger offensive lineman on the goal line. You got to find other ways to get in. But power does win you in those short down and distances. 1,000%, 100%. I will not disagree with you on that in no way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? We got Lakewood, California in the building. Shout out to Preston Paul Johnson. That's what's up, man. I said roll call. We got a roll call going on. I like it. I like it, man. You guys are interactive on today. You hella interactive on today. Appreciate you. But I agree, man. The power wins on the goal line, and that's why you got to have the best of both. I think, remember how I would say I don't understand. I never understood the Aaron Banks pick. Remember I was saying that? I was screaming it through mountaintops, man. I didn't understand it. And now I think I'm starting to get it because we need some gap dominance as far as power, and then you need the guys with the finesse that can kick out and get to the outside. So you need that. You need all of it. All of it's important. You know, all of it's important. I'm not even going to lie. Now, if you're new here and you love the 49ers Draft Talk, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like this joint right now while you're watching it live. And if you're watching it on any other of the streaming services, please come on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like this joint on the YouTube channel, and you can join the Breezy Bunch crew right here on the YouTube. So you want to take advantage of that, but that's only exclusive for YouTube. So make sure you guys, come on over, take advantage, come on over and take advantage of what we're doing right here on the YouTube. All right. Now, let's talk about what the O-line drills actually measure. Okay. Let's talk about what they actually measure. And earlier on today, I was expressing on my Twitter, what to look for. I put out a little reel. It's like, this is what you want to look for. All right. Let's talk about why that 10-yard split matters in Kyle Shanahan's offense. And if you got a chance to watch the drills where the guards got a chance to pull, or the offensive lineman, got a chance to pull, and how fast they were kicking out, those good 10-yard splits, that will tell you that's how the burst is going to be. Because after you get down to 10 yards, man, your offensive lineman going to run out of energy. They're just bigger guys. They're going to run out of energy. And so once they do that, it's off the sailing. Hopefully the blocking goes well. And then your running back, your wide receiver, whoever's running out of the backfield, they're gone. So that's 10 yards with a big-ass lineman running right with you. That's what I could get. If you get Trent Williams was a 1-7-1 split, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wasn't he a 1-7-1 split or a 1-7-0 split, 10-yard split? Man, you get in that range, you are unicorn-esque. Okay? That means you're moving. And I expressed earlier that the Niners need movers on the offensive line. Movers, not just movers as far as in power, but movers as far as in athleticism. They need movers. I think the offensive line isn't athletic anymore. I think the biggest issue for the 49ers offensive line is that the athleticism is missing. You got Trent Williams, who's the most athletic offensive lineman on this roster as right now. He still is. He's still here. And then you lose out on the athleticism. And we're not built for power runs. I think the Niners need to address the offensive line heavily based off of that athletic mark. And listen, if you guys say it's power, then that's fine. That's your prerogative. But I really think the 49ers offensive line needs to get more athletic. We got another Super Chat contribution from Cinnamon Kiss. Thank you for breaking this down for us. And thank you for being a member of the Breezy Bunch crew. Before there was even a Breezy Bunch crew, you've always been rocking with me. And I appreciate you, Miss Cynthia. Thank you so much. We need dogs. I see your comment. We definitely need some daggone dogs. There's some dogs. Listen, I'm gonna give you, there's a dog in this draft that I don't think anyone will outdog him. He's not a first rounder. I'm just gonna mention his name. He's one of my top 10 guards. He's not a first rounder. Okay, and that's good. But in the third round, if you can get a guy like Keelan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech, there is no one in this draft that will outdog him. Keelan Rutledge. He's the brother, I believe, of Tate Rutledge, former Atlanta Falcon. Listen, when I met him at the Senior Bowl and I'm sitting there listening to him, he talks like a dog. Matter of fact, he spoke dog. He almost was speaking. I had to inner chant my inner Scooby-Doo. Because he was talking like a dog, so I had to get on his level to understand what the hell was. I tell you what, he's a mean mother from outer space, and he's bad. Shout out to Little Shop of Horrors. That was one of my favorite movies, for sure. But listen, you want a dog Keelan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, not Georgia, Georgia Tech. If I said Georgia earlier, my bad. Uncle Salty, what's going on? That's a dog. That is a dog, top dog. No one's out dogging Keelan Rutledge. And I thought he tested pretty well today at the combine. Not going to lie. Not one of my biggest winners or biggest risers or whatever, but I thought he tested well. All right. I'm not going to lie. Let's get to some of the other things. So and shout out to those that said that they want the power runs. That's why I asked you, do you want power or athleticism? So if you're just tuning in, the question was, do we go power? Do we go athleticism? And I think the Niners wide zone is built for athleticism. It's not built for power. But we do need to get stronger up front. We do need to get stronger up front. And I think that's key. That's key. Getting stronger up front, but they need to be hella athletic. How do we test the athleticism? Well, you can look at their stuff. You can look at how well they jump, all that good stuff. Hold on. I'm trying to get my stuff back into sign in my stuff because it's just how it is. But you need guys that can move in those 10-yard bursts. I can't stress that more important. That's a Kyle Shanahan guy. And so when we're breaking this stuff down, we're going to be looking at these fast guys once I break down. And if you guys aren't members of the Patreon, if you're not members of the Breezy Bunch crew, you need to join because I have you could go online, you could get it for free, the combine tracker. I go a little bit more in detail with my combine tracker. I'm going to include RAS scores and things like that. And I'm still working on it. This is a work in progress, but I just update it as I enter information. But just looking at the 10-yard splits, I'm going to give you the fastest 10-yard splits. All right, now no one's talking about this center out of Alabama, but Parker Brailsford, he ran a 4.95 with a 1.7 split. He has the highest 10-yard split for centers in this draft. And God dang it, the Niners can draft the center, and they don't have to draft the center in the first round. I do not believe there will be a run on centers in round 1 or round 2. They will not be. Niners have a pick in the 3rd round. I say get all dynamic players and then go to that 4th round. You got 3 picks in the 4th round. That's where you get your center. He had a 9-foot 10-inch broad jump. Highest broad jump for the centers. 9 feet 10 inches. Just wanted to put that out there. He might have had damn near the highest broad jump out of all the offensive linemen, but 9 feet 10 inches. Parker Brailsford, hella athletic. We need movers. He runs fast, but he got a 1.7 split. That right there is the bell ringer right there. Niners could get them a center for the future. Doesn't have to start day 1, but can come in here and compete with Jake Brendo and whoever else they're going to have playing center. That's the guy right there. Parker Brailsford. I was hella moved. Let's see. As far as other fast 10-yard splits for the guards, Kentucky guard Jalen Farmer, 1.75. He ran a 4.93, 1.75 10-yard split. And I'm going to look up some of these guys too because you asked me could Rutledge play. So bear with me. I had to sign into my stuff, and that's on me. My computer was down and trying to get it back up. So more at the right guard. Let's see. He played most of his. I don't see any snaps at the left guard. He did play left guard in 2022 at Middle Tennessee when he was at Middle Tennessee before he transferred to Georgia Tech. So he does have snaps at the left guard. So he can play left guard. He can play right guard. There it is. Boom. And easy peasy. Just like Dominic Pooney can play left guard, can play right guard. Easy peasy. If you're trying to get mean, boom. You got you a guy right there. You got you a guy. My man Christopher says athleticism. Athleticism is what fits. We do go undersized, but I don't mind going undersized at this position. You do have to worry about the nose tackles lining up over him, trying to knock him down or whatever. I'm not saying he's my number one center. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is this is a guy that can move. He can get out. He can kick out. He can move. He could put on 10 pounds of muscle too. I don't think that's going to be tough. But I think this is a guy Don't sleep on the 290. That's an easy fix. It's easier to gain the weight than it is to lose the weight. It's easier to gain the weight than it is to lose the weight. So if you want to stick on him at 290, that's fine. The good thing is he's not undersized as far as his height. That's a good thing. But he plays center really well. Not saying that that's the guy that the Niners go with, but I'm just saying he's an option. He's an option. All right, let's get back to I was talking about Keelan Rutledge as a guard. I was talking about the fast 10-yard splits as the guard. And going back to my docs, I also have the fastest tackle 10-yard split, Monroe Freeland. And we're going to talk about him in a little bit. 171. He ran a 4.93 as well. But not the fastest for a tackle in the 40-yard, but definitely had the fastest 10-yard split, 171. And I feel like, if the Niners drafted Monroe Freeland at 27, I'm okay with that if he can kick in to play guard. That's my only concern, and I'm looking. It's left tackle, left tackle, left tackle. And right tackle. I don't see him with any guard experience. That right there is what would trip me up. But this guy is hella athletic. This guy can move. So I'm curious to see how they look at Monroe Freeland, 6'7", 315 plus pounds. I'm curious to see how they attack that position, how they do, because they need a guard. They don't need the tackle, but if Trent Williams is on the outbreaks, then I'm running this pick in if he's available at 27. I'm definitely running the pick in if he's available at 27. I'm not going to sit there and wait. I'm going to draft that guy. But if Trent is coming back, you got McKivitz for another year or two. You're going to have Trent Williams. You're going to probably work out his deal. He'll be here for another couple years. Will they go tackle? And that right there is the question. They got to find a tackle that's going to be able to kick in and play guard right away. If not, just go get the guard. I don't see him falling to 27, not after this combine. But let's talk about my biggest risers because that's what we're going to get into. So let's talk about biggest winners. Man, I be trying to get more presentable with docs and creative and all that type of stuff. So that's why the show was a little bit late because I was here making this thing. And then it wouldn't work properly. And I'm just like, what the freak? So we got it to work. All right, Breezy's day 4 offensive linemen, tackles, guards, centers. Here's my number 1 riser right here, baby. Monroe Freeland, offensive tackle from Georgia. He won the day, in my opinion. This dude is the best offensive lineman out there. Looks smooth in all the drills, all that good stuff. Ran a 4.9 in the 40, elite for a 315-pound tackle. Best 10-yard split amongst all the offensive tackles. He might have the highest 10 yards. Well, not the highest 10 yards split. Did he have the highest 10-yard split? I got a 171, 175, and 17 was Parker Brailsford. He almost had a better 10-yard split than the center. That's crazy. But Monroe Freeland is phenomenal. It's going to be a phenomenal guy. And I picked him as a riser for the simple fact that I already mocked him at 27 in a mock draft. I just don't know if that's the route the Niners are going as far as drafting the tackle that you're going to redshirt for a year, depending on, the situation. Now, like I said, he's the pick. If you move on from Trent Williams, he has to be the guy. This is the left tackle you're going to have for the next 10 years. I feel like he's going to have that. He has that type of situation working for him. All right. Look at that. 33.5-inch vertical jump, 9-foot 7-inch broad jump. He's 6'7" with long arms. All right. He showed explosiveness, movement skills, which matters more than straight speed for tackles. It's all about lateral movement. It's not about the vertical up and down for these guys. Remember, these guys are out on the edge. They're out here, and they're protecting those edge rushers from getting around them or using a move to go inside on them. So it's all about the footwork for these dudes. Footwork, anchor. He's got it. And if you watch film on him, you'll see and understand why I say he's got it. The question, again, is going to come down to what the hell is going on with Trent Williams. That's the $1 million question. So let me ask you this question. Let's say Trent Williams returns. Are you still running your card in if he's available at pick 27? Drop it in the chat. If Monroe Freeland is at pick 27, Trent Williams is your left tackle. 49ers throwbacks in the building. Trent Williams is your left tackle. Colton McKivitz is your right tackle. Are you dropping the card in on Monroe Freeland? Is he the pick? Is he the pick? Let me know. Drop it in the chat. I'm down to know. Biggest winner for me. Max Ianacher. Let's talk about him. Ianacher. That's how you say his name. If I'm not mistaken, had to look it up. All right. That's what I'm saying. All right. I got it's for Freeland's here. You take him. 49ers throwback says why not? I don't know if that was to me. Give me Monroe. Tribe, I think, is Lumen South. That's what I'm talking about. Take over Seattle. That's the key. Got to stop them defensive mother freakers up front. This guy's going to be somewhat of a project. And the only reason why he's going to be a project is because he has not played a lot of football. Oh, I love the name Mad Max. Let's go. I don't give a whoop that he didn't play a lot of football. Ask me if I care. At the Senior Bowl, he dominated. And you know what he was? He was mean. He was mean. He was Trent Williams mean. Somebody, when players was trying to get like extra licks on him, bruh, he went over to him and got the lick back. Like in a way that don't touch me no more, motherfucker. That's the type of person I need on this roster. I need a Max Ianacher on this roster. Why? Because he don't take no stuff. And I thought he held his own against all these edge rushers that we want on this team. He dominated. Not one of them got the best of Ianacher. Not one of them at the Senior Bowl. So you're telling me a kid that started playing football late was able to hold his own against all the dominant all-stars coming out of college? So how you think he's going to be in the pros? He's only going to get better. The ceiling is, the sky's the limit. But because of that's the issue with him. That's the issue. I don't think I just feel it's because of the inexperience. And I think that's going to hinder him. Ding, 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 ding. If this guy falls to the second round, though, if he's there and the Niners can trade up to get him, or if he's there and the Niners, you get where I'm going with this? Now, if you want a person that you feel like you can kick in and play guard, now we talking. Now we talking. And here's what I'm talking about. This dude ran a 4.91, so he had one of the fastest 40s. I think it was a tie, or maybe he did have the fastest 40. Let me check my docs. Let's see. Ianacher 44.91. Yeah, so he was tied with Spencer Fano. Spencer Fano is the top 2 tackle in this draft. He's probably going to be the number 2 tackle taken off unless Monroe Freeland jumps him. Okay, but so I don't have him as the biggest riser for me because I already knew he was the guy. Same thing with Francis Mauigoa. Like those are the top 2 tackles in the draft. Mauigoa didn't even test. At the end of the day, like those guys are going to go top 1, top 2, unless Monroe Freeland jumps Fano. That's how you say his name. That can happen. But back to Ianacher. Like this dude. Listen. This dude ran a 4.91 with a 1.73 split. Yo, if you can get close to that Trent Williams, anything under 1.75 is perfect. Anything 1.75 and under is perfect for a tackle. Let me just make that clear. 1.75 10-yard split for a tackle, perfect. That means you can move. I see Jack said he can move. Give me Monroe. You want Monroe. Big boy can move too. Listen, this dude move faster. He top tier broad jump 9 feet 7 inches. Dude is 321 pounds and moves like a tight end. He's hella athletic. His test confirmed it, and he fits Kyle Shanahan's system. And the one thing I like about this guy, he's a right tackle. I don't know if they're gonna kick him in. He doesn't have any experience, and that's the thing with him. He doesn't. All his experience is collegiate. So he didn't grow up playing football. He came from another country, and I think he started playing soccer. Can't remember what the story was or whatever, but now he's into football. He's into football, and he's doing it well. The good thing is he don't got a lot of wear and tear on his body. So no one's looking at the other parts. You know what I'm saying? Scuba Pat says, the Niners love that 10-yard split. You goddamn right. Because we are an athletic-based team, on the offense, and we need to be able to move the ball outside. Drop in the chat right now. Let me go full screen here. If you know why Kyle Shanahan likes to move the ball laterally, vertically is automatic, but why does Kyle like to move the ball laterally? Put it in the chat. Let's see if you guys know exactly why Kyle Shanahan does. And if not, I'm here. I can tell you. That's what we're here for. We're here to school each other. I'm not here to school you. You're here to school me. I'm here to school you. Like, it's the same thing, give or take. You know what I'm saying? Reciprocity. But why does Kyle Shanahan like to move the ball east to west? Why does he like to run the ball east to west? Who can tell me in the chat? All right, so back to I in nature. He in nature. Gotta get that right, man. That's tripping me out. This guy's gonna be a stud on the pro level. And you know what? You can't let him go to Arizona. You can't let him go to Seattle. You can't let these other offensive lines get better because you didn't want to take a chance on a player that tested phenomenally. Like this dude in college played 860 snaps. He played over 2,107 total snaps in college, and I thought he was phenomenal. He gave up 3 sacks in 2,107 snaps. He gave up only 3 sacks. 3 sacks, 8 hits, 39 pressures, so a total of 50 pressures per PFF. Listen. Listen. I like him. Now, penalties is something he's got to work on, probably hands, things like that, but I think that's just something he could work on. All right, my number 3 last biggest riser from the offensive line group. And again, let me know why Kyle Shanahan likes to move the ball east to west. It's important. You know what I'm saying? This is where athleticism comes in. I promise you I'm going to tie that in. But there's a reason why he likes to move the ball east to west. All right, Spencer Fano out of Utah. Now, I feel like he can play guard. Now, he's multi-universe. Like this dude can line up, I think, just anywhere other than center, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check and see where his snaps are in his collegiate career. Now he's a tackle. That Utah offensive line looked good. Even Lomu looked good out there. He's a right tackle. All right. As far as last season, he played all right tackle, left and right. I don't see any snaps at the guard position. 2,224 snaps, offensive snaps for him. He only gave up 3 sacks as well. 100 more snaps than I in nature. But 3 sacks, 7 hits, 30 hurries, total 40 pressures in his 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something to look into. Not a lot of snaps, but I'm sure he's been playing football. Here's what I loved. His best drill was the mirror, and his feet were beautiful. If you watched his feet in the shuffles and the mirror drill and those, they were gliding. They never crossed up, and they were just literally gliding. Like he was gliding laterally. I think he's becoming my favorite offensive lineman. I like Monroe. Don't get it twisted, but it's something about Fano, the way he plays, or Fano, not sure how you say his name, because my favorite character in Mortal Kombat was Kano, so I'm going to call him Fano, because you just take off the freaking F and the K, and you put it with an F, it go from Kano to Fano. Anyway, smooth mirror ability in the drills, clean footwork. I mean, the footwork was beautiful, man. Like, they never crossed up, he never tripped up, he never lost his balance. That was important, and he looks ready. He looks ready. He's a perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's system. Perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's system. Now, I promise if I see some questions out there, drop your questions in here for sure. I'm definitely going to prioritize those that are members first, and I'm going to do a special just question segment where I'm going to be answering questions from you guys on these live shows. I need that. I like to answer questions. So don't be mad if I don't get to it, but he would be a perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's group. So these are my 3 biggest winners. I mean, there were other guys like, and I don't want to say his name. I'm just going to call him Big Vega. I thought Vega, he didn't run, but Vega looked good out there in those drills. That's a big dude. Dude looked good. And he's my number 1 guard. So if Kyle Shanahan needed a guard, I'm going to get Big Vega. Like that. If Vega somehow slips to 27, I would run the pick in on Vega quicker than I would run the pick on any one of the tackles, the 3 tackles that I just talked about. Why? Because that's the need. I really believe Trent Williams is coming back, but the need is at that left guard spot. And Vega, I feel like can come in here and play the left guard spot. Let me see if I can get his name, spell his name right. It's Oleva Vega. Iwane. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. And you need a left guard, and this is the left guard. This is a guy. But somebody's gonna pick him before us. You just gotta get the guard. You gotta get him. We got a super chat. Dalvin Thomas, what's going on? Thank you for the super chat. This is Breezy. I know you're on the grind, but are you going to the movies to see the new Michael Jackson movie? I believe it's going to be epic. Absolutely, I'm going to find a way to see this movie. You know what I'm saying? Remember back in the day, and don't say if you did this, but remember back in the day, oh man, we grew up in the good times. Remember back in the day when you couldn't get to the movies, you would go to like a place and you would get the movie and watch the DVD, and it was never the same. It was the clarity sucked. You had people walking through the movie. I'm not saying I did that or partook in it. I'm just saying y'all remember that back in the day. I think this is the first time I saw Friday. It was on one of those VHS tapes. Anyway. I said Iwane, Pregnon. I don't think Pregnon fits. I'm gonna hold that, Uncle Salty. Don't leave. I want to talk about that. I don't think he fits the scheme, but Delvin, I'm definitely gonna go see that Michael Jackson movie, and I've been reading good reviews on the acting, and it's gonna be epic. I'm a Michael fan. Michael's my favorite growing up, so definitely. So, back to my man Vega. This dude, you need a guard. This dude. Here's the thing I like about Vega, right? He plays guard. He had left guard, right tackle, left tackle. I'm gonna say it again. He had 8 career snaps at left tackle, 1,879 snaps at left guard, 17 snaps at the center position, 314 snaps at the right guard position, and 7 snaps as the right tackle, and he could be a tight end, an inline tight end. 44 snaps as an inline tight end. Listen, Ioane. I knew I was missing a letter. Ioane. That's dope. I got it now. I just call him Vega. Just Vega. Go by the first name. Vega. Ioane. Got it though. But listen, this dude, versatility is key. And we talked about that's the unsung part that we didn't talk about for Kyle Shanahan, what fits on his offensive line. It's versatility. Guys that can line up and play multiple positions and do it well. And so this is if my first round pick was him, I'd be all in it. I'd take him over any wide receiver. I'd take him over because now you're addressing the future of this offensive line. He might be the best guard coming out in this draft since Quentin Nelson. And I know Gray Zabel he plays guard in the NFL. He's going to be a phenomenal guard, but he came out as a tackle. He did. He came out as a tackle. He was a tackle at North Dakota State. This dude is a guard. This dude is the guard that the Niners need. Will he be available at 27? I don't know. So he was a winner too. I thought he looked really good in his drills. And I'm going to do a full write-up on 49ers Web Zone. So make sure you go there. You can check out. You can read. I'll probably have a couple of extra guys in that as well. And then Francis Mauigoa is probably going to be the number 1 tackle off the board just because it's the safe pick. He came from a good winning program at Miami, and he was dominant out there. Not going to lie, in his collegiate career. Didn't test, but was dominant out there. So that's what we got. All right, which offensive line man impressed you the most today? I want you to put that in your chat. So out of all the offensive line that you guys saw, which one impressed you the most? And we're going to get to our biggest hers. Which offensive lineman impressed you the most today? It was Monroe Freeland for me. And there's a center that I did not mention. I talked about Parker Brailsford, but if I'm drafting a center in this draft, it's Logan Jones out of Iowa. If I'm drafting a center, it's Logan Jones out of Iowa. It's coming from the same type of system that Kyle Shanahan runs out of Iowa. He would be the perfect fit. You can see him move. He's not underweight. He's not undersized. He can move. Again, he can move. It would be Logan Jones, 4th round pick. Logan Jones out of Iowa. That's just my quick take on it. Not going to spend too much time on that. It's just how I'm looking at it. All right, so let's see. In the chat, Fencer, Big Brick says, Fano looked better than I expected. I told you he was going to be nice. I told you he was going to be nice. Uncle Salty says, Jennings Dunker with the ginger mullet and Viking warrior vibe. Man, you know I love me some Jennings Dunker. That's why, look, if you got to get, now again, he's listed as a tackle. Arm length is probably going to make him play guard. You know what I'm saying? Either way, you're good. I'm good with Jennings Dunker. He's a football player, high motor. You ain't got to worry about him taking a play off for nothing, right? Great vibes. Great vibes. And I think he'll get, to play good too. Connor Colby. Give me Jennings Dunker. That's funny because if you draft Jennings Dunker, okay, right? We gave versatility there. Tackle experience is his thing, but he's going to kick in and play guard. Man, he would have to battle out with his former teammate, Connor Colby. How crazy would that be? Love Jennings Dunker. I like that everybody mentioned Jennings Dunker. I didn't think people remember. He didn't test the best. He's not hella athletic. He's just a football guy. Neither is Keelan Rutledge. Like those are two guys that just scream old school 49er mauling guard play. Yeah, them the two guys. It'd be Jennings Dunker, Keelan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech, Jennings Dunker out of Iowa. Give me those two guards. And I like Bo Stevens. Bo Stevens is a little bit more smooth. He's not as rugged as far as his mean streak, but Bo Stevens would be another guard you probably can get like in the 5th round. Just saying. Them Iowa offensive linemen look a little bit different. All right. Let's get to my biggest losers. I'm gonna talk about him as a loser, but he didn't lose. He lost based off of athleticism just a bit. He didn't jump the highest. He didn't run the fastest. I don't think any of that's going to matter. I'm going to tell you where he gets lost from me. I have it in my notes too. And I'm going to tell you why I think I have him as a loser. I'm not going to say his name, but you guys know I'm high on this dude. I really do like this dude. Caden Proctor out of Alabama, I really do like. And there's a reason why he fell for me, all right? So the testing, it didn't really separate him from his peers. We were just going based off of the combine testing, not necessarily what they did out there on the football field. His movement looked heavier than expected, needed a dominant showing, but you know what you get from him? Talent. I think the talent and the ceiling on Caden Proctor is through the roof. I don't care how he moved. I don't care. All I know is when the pads are on, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to outwork this young guy. Now, I know he's 350 pounds. That's fine. Ask me if I care. I don't think his weight is going to hinder him. And the weight, you can't tell me. At 352, this dude ran, a 5'2"? What did he run? A 5'2" His split was pretty damn good for that size. He's like 6'8". What? Hold up. Proctor, 6'7". He was 352 or 3? I don't know what his weight was off the top of my head, but he ran a 5'2" with a 184 split. This is a big dude. Not sure he fits what Kyle Shanahan wants to do, but if you go in power, this is a powerful guy. Here's why I feel like he's going to slip, in my opinion. All right? His arms. 33 3/8 inches in arms. Now, the wingspan is there. I mean, you good luck. But the arm length needs to be at least 34 inches, in my opinion. I feel like with the arm length, Caden Proctor's arm length, those defenders are going to have a quicker time just getting the arms up into this guy's chest. And that's probably why you'll see him get pushed back a little bit or things like that. You know what I'm saying? So the way he looked out there moving, I thought he moved really well for his weight. I thought he looked really good out there, but I just didn't think he didn't rise. He didn't do anything to rise. So if anything, he might have fell to the second round, which for the Niners will work. If you don't want to spend a pick on a guy like this in the first round, that's fine. Get him in round 2, pick 58. But he's hella athletic. I mean, you saw him dunking basketballs and things like that. Am I spelling his name wrong? I feel like I am. because it's Cadwin. Okay, got you, Mr. Proctor. All right, so damn, he had a great year though at left tackle. Golly, far as career, he is a left tackle, and if look, here's the thing that I like about him, right? I don't mind spending a second round pick on this guy, and he take over for Trent Williams in the next year. I don't mind. I think he comes in. This I would if I'm Kyle Shanahan and he's sitting at 58, which he won't be, but if he's sitting at 58, he play and you could get him with the 58th pick. You run up and do it. This is not an Aaron Banks project. I don't think this will be an Aaron Banks project. I know we drafted Aaron Banks in round 2. No. Better. This cat's gonna come in and compete. I see. Is he the pick at 27? I don't know. I don't think he tests to be the pick. Now, I will say if the Niners needed a tackle at 27 and he was available, and your other guys like Freeland and Lomo and Fano, those guys are gone. Okay. I could dig it. I just know he's a bigger tackle prospect. He's gonna struggle with the outside zone, but you know what he's gonna bring? Power. And you know where I hope you can kick him in? Can you imagine having a big 360-pound dude playing guard and moving? His footwork is phenomenal. That's why I put he's still talented, but I think others passed him athletically. So this would be Trent's replacement, 1,000%. I think I did a show on this. You know what I'm saying? I think I did a show. So Blake Miller is one of my top 10 tackles. Didn't look explosive out there enough for me. Got to watch more film on him. Clemson had a few offensive linemen in this draft. They're not really known for their offensive linemen, but you can tell that this is something that they're starting to gear up for. Offensive tackle Clemson, average explosive numbers, didn't really pop in the agilities drills. Looked more developmental than plug and play. So that means 4th, 5th round pick, if that, maybe 5th, 6th round pick, if that, for developmental. You know what it is? It's a strong tackle class. It is. It's a strong tackle class. Unfortunately, he didn't do anything to stand out, and you got guys doing everything they can to bump themselves up. So my two biggest fallers from today, or losers, however you want to call it, would be Blake Miller, the tackle, and Caden Proctor, a couple of tackles. Everybody else looked pretty good. It was a great combine. Another fast combine, too, for these offensive linemen, man. The offensive linemen were freaking moving, man. They were moving out there. I was impressed. I actually watched every single offensive lineman. I was hella impressed, baby. Hella impressed. Hell of impressed. I had to put that all together. All right. So, who do you think might have hurt their stock on today? Who do you think might have hurt their stock? Drop it in the chat. Let me know who you felt like might have hurt their stock. And again, there were some really good guys. We talked about my biggest winners. Monroe Freeland was the best offensive lineman out there, hands down. Wasn't the smoothest, but I think overall had the best workout. And I think Fano followed him up 1,000%. So let's talk about what this means for the 49ers, okay? What does this mean for the 49ers? And you got to look at the current 49er needs on the offensive line, all right? So maybe some right tackle stability, all right? They need a guy that can play the swing. They're losing Spencer Burford, probably the free agency. They're not going to bring him back. And so they need a guy that can come up there and play the swing or play right, play left. And we don't really know what's going on with Trent Williams. So that's going to be an issue. Interior depth. They need interior offensive line depth. They really need a starting left guard. That's what they need. They need a starting left guard. We talked about that. And then these players need to have somewhat of an athletic profile. Yeah, they need to have an athletic profile. And I think that's key. Now, let's talk about Shanahan's scheme fits. For the players that I saw, the 3 players that fit his schemes were the 3 winners that I picked. Freeland, Nature, and Fano. And all of these guys I think are going in the first round. Maybe Nature may go round 2. Maybe he slides out because they might knock him for the experience. But Freeland and Fano, they're gone. They're gone. And you know what? You're going to get Lomu, excuse me. And let me ask you this. If Lomu and I Hand Nature is on the board at 27, would you go there? Would you do it? Let me know. Let me know. We got a super chat from 49ers_throwback. He says, Debo could have not said it any better. His response was right on about playing with the best quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Jaden Daniels. I didn't even get a chance to hear Debo say that. He said that. He said he got a chance to play with the best quarterbacks. That's what's up. Yeah, man, Brock used to get that ball to Debo, man. He sure did. Brock trusted Debo like it was nothing. And the rumor is Debo may be coming back on a 1-2 year deal. We'll see what happens with that. I know a lot of people don't want it, but thank you for the super chat. Thank everybody for the super chats. Appreciate that. It's crazy. But when you look at those 3 players, you get lateral movement. And I think Howdy, I asked the question earlier. I didn't forget. I hope I started. I did. I asked the question, why does Kyle Shanahan prefer to run the ball east to west, right? Moving laterally creates space in zone. Defenders get thrown off balance, and you can't use power. This is perfect, spot on. And can I add to it, Howdy, if you don't mind, and you could correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. This is perfect. It creates space in zone. Key. Ding, 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 ding. It also wears that ass out. Okay? When you're running the ball successfully on the outside, you're making those big offensive linemen weary and tired. You're creating tiredness, right? And that's what Kyle Shanahan is used to doing. Defenses have been cheating because our guys just don't have the athleticism to kick out. They don't have that athleticism. That burst isn't there. They don't have it. So these guys aren't kicking out. They're not downhill blocking. They're not doing anything, and that's why we got to get better at that. And so you're watching guys be able to rotate guys in defensively. You run that outside zone, and you run it successfully, and you're getting 9, 10, 12, 15 explosive plays. You're getting those type of plays. Man, do you know how hard it's going to be for those defenses to sub in their players? It's going to be crazy. Got to get back to that. A lot of times we're watching these defenses with their strong fronts up there, and they're just taking advantage of our offensive line. And I think the offensive line, yes, they got to get stronger, but they also got to be athletic. So technique, athleticism, and strength. It's the perfect trio. It's the trinity of offensive line. So Howdy, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that for answering that. I see some answers in the chat. It says Diego. Tony says Diego Pounds looked okay. He did look okay. He definitely did look okay. Not gonna lie. So lateral movement is key because second level blocking is where we need to get these guys out to. Offensive line and the second level is a wrap, man. They get on linebackers. Good luck. I miss Trent pancaking corners. Remember when Trent was pancaking corners, man? Just taking them out. Not even pancaking them. He was literally just like, get out of my face. Like, we don't even get to that level anymore. That's the third level, but we don't even get to the second level. Like, we're not even at the linebacker level. And then it's the outside zone mobility. And that's why those 3 players fit. They have the footwork. They have the burst. They have the lateral movement. They're able to change direction pretty good. That's key. You know what I'm saying? That's key. That's why they fit those 3 things. Now, as far as draft strategy impact, it all comes down to who's available on the board. So this week on my mock draft Monday, I'm hoping it looks a little different. I'm hoping the board falls different. I'm hoping things are a little bit more realistic now that the combine is over. It's going to be the first post-combine mock draft, and hopefully those players are shifting around a little bit. So the Niners may look to trade back. They may look to trade down, right? Instead of moving up to get a guy, they may look to trade down depending on who falls, because not all these guys are going to be first-round picks. It's going to be interesting. And they're going to probably look for day two value, so second to third round. You got Dominic Pooney in the third round, and I think Dominic Pooney is going to be a fantabulous offensive lineman in this league. I think he's going to be fantastic. Did I make that word up? Fantastic and fabulous? Fantabulous. He's going to be that. Down year last year, I'm not holding that against him. There's things he needs to work on, but he's gonna be fine. You can find a guy, man. Like, there's gonna be tons of players out there that you could find. Tony's gonna join us tomorrow. That's what's up. There's gonna be tons of players tomorrow. Tons of players. I can't wait to see. And then also we got to see what we do with free agency. So free agency will let us know how we're going to attack this draft. We still might sign guys in free agency, but it might be the lower tier guys and still draft a guy. So that's going to be interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting. So it's going to be real dope. And let's get to some of your comments in the chat, because I told you I was going to get to some of those. Live chat mailbag. Let's get to them. If you guys got any questions, throw them out there. I'll try to highlight them as quickly as I can. If they're members, they'll highlight automatically. Let's see. Tony says he's high on J.C. Davis from Illinois. Not a huge fan. I tell you, so tomorrow on the show, we're going to talk about Tony's. We're going to get his biggest risers. How about that? We'll do that tomorrow. We'll get Tony's biggest risers, and I'll argue with him about them. I'll debate him. I'll debate if I like the guy. Tony, save your picks for tomorrow. We'll do that tomorrow. All right. J.C. Davis from Illinois. He's not high on my board. I would love to hear why Tony likes him. I think that'd be really good to hear about why Tony likes him. I think he was okay. I thought he tested okay. Didn't do anything, in my opinion, to like really stand out. Ran a 5.16, 178 split. That's pretty good for a tackle. 30.5-inch vert and an 8'3" broad jump as far as his athleticism. So his athleticism is not screaming. And he didn't do any of the other drills. What I'd love to see is 3-cone. Speaking of 3-cone, Spencer Fano had the best 3-cone, 7.34 for offensive lineman. That boy can stop and redirect real quick for a big old 300+ pound lineman. Just wanted to put that out there. That's a great number for a 300-pound guy. Big Brick says Markel Bell from Miami was an athletic freak of nature on the field today. 6'9", 345, 5'3", 640, and over an 80 wingspan. Too bad he isn't an edge rusher instead. That is funny. Here's the thing. We talked about these big tackles. He won't fit. They've already compared him to Trent Brown, and Kyle Shanahan moved on from Trent Brown. And so because he moved on from Trent Brown, he won't fit. He won't fit. And that's a big dude. And I'm worried though, like if we did go this route, will these speed guys be able to get around him? That's what I am. That's what I'm worried. Uncle Salty did say Ioane. Got it. Or Pregnon. So Ioane, yes, if it's strictly guard, if you're going guard at 27, you draft him. Pregnon, I just don't think fits either. I think he's more of that power. I don't want to go that route again. I don't think he'll move as well as we need the players in the offensive line to move. And so Ioane, I think, would be the perfect fit. Pregnon would be like drafting a guy that's just strictly for power gap types and runs. So stuff up the middle. Is that what the Niners want to do if he doesn't fit the athletic mold? I think when they started shifting when they got Aaron Banks, they tried to switch to power. Tony, remember Tony and I used to talk about that. We were trying to figure out the philosophy where we're going from outside zone to power runs, and I don't think the power runs really held up for us. I mean, there were some explosive plays up the middle in the 1 or 2 gaps, right? There were some explosive plays, but I don't think the power runs held up too well for us. All right, let me get to the chat. A lot of people saying no on Debo. I see that in there. He's talking to Brick, so I just want to make sure. Wayne, we are going to lose an hour. Dang, already? I'm tired. But we'll gain more Sunday light in the evening. Hopefully Connecticut has great sunsets. The sunsets here are pretty beautiful. They are. They're pretty beautiful. I'm not going to lie. Joel Martinez says, I like Rodriguez. He's my number 2 linebacker in this draft, man. He's number 2. And he might have gained the most stock rising at the linebacker position. I'll talk to Tony off the air. Tony's going to have to give me his biggest riser and loser from every position on tomorrow's episode. I don't got to do no work but sit there and let Tony talk. This is going to be dope. I need a break. All right? I need a break. Anyway, he's my number 2 linebacker. Sonny Styles, number 1. I feel like Rodriguez is number 2. His athleticism, his speed, his ability to be able to run just prove that he can move. It's a 4-5 guy. Yeah, yes. Yes, he is him. You want a guy that could has speed and pop, and I think, and as far as Sonny Styles is great, but there's not a linebacker in this draft that has a higher IQ than that man Jacob Rodriguez. Sorry, when you talk about guys that I like, I can't help it. You don't got to go super in depth, Tony. Golly, like Tony wants to be super prepared. He says, "Let's go get Derek Moore." I like this right here because Derek Moore didn't test due to a hamstring injury, but yeah, his speed off the edge. Excuse me. Let me say this right. I don't want a speed rusher. I want a speed to power ratio rusher. I want another slight of a Nick Bosa that is just violent. I want a more violent version of Nick Bosa. Yeah, that's what I want. That's Derek Moore. Not saying he's Nick, because he's not the tactician as Nick Bosa is. The handwork isn't the same and whatever. But as far as the way he plays off the edge and the way he tackles and the way he sets the edge, ooh, I think he's a better edge setter than Nick Bosa when he came into the league. I do. I truly do. I truly do. Drew Shelton. I was high on him too, man. He ain't test well. Drew Shelton didn't look all that great, in my opinion. Let's see. Drew Shelton numbers as far as he didn't run the 40. I mean, he did run the 40. He had a 5.16, 179 split with a 9-foot, 4-inch broad jumps. Kid from Penn State, if I'm not mistaken. Tackle from Penn State. Oh, man, tomorrow's going to be fun. I can tell you that right now. Tomorrow's going to be fun. But as far as college snaps, man, this dude played 4 years, 2,455 collegiate snaps at the left tackle and left guard and right tackle and right guard. So you get versatility there, you know. You get versatility there for sure. He only gave up 3 sacks in his career and over 63 pressures, but only 3 of those pressures were sacks. God dang. He's pretty solid out there. Your quarterback's not going to get hit. Well, excuse me, your quarterback's not going to get sacked. But that's, again, Drew Allard moved around a little bit, you know. He was able to move around a little bit. But I wasn't a huge fan of Drew Shelton. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. My drafts don't be live, though. I got to record my drafts because I like to take my time and whatever. But the live mock drafts will be coming soon on different days. And I'm going to be doing the fan mock drafts. You know what I'm saying? Breezy Bunch member mock drafts. And then I'll be doing, fan mock drafts. We'll do 3-round drafts. We're going to be focusing on top 100 players. So that's something that, that we're going to be kicking off right here on the Wayne Breezie channel. So if you guys aren't already locked in, man, make sure you locked in on the channel. Please do so. All right. Please do so. Make sure you locked in. Thanks for rocking out with me on a Sunday. Here's my final takes, though. And we talked about what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll talk about overall combine, risers and fallers, and some draft board movement. And Tony, I'm going to put him to work, because he ain't got nothing else to do. So, Tony, get ready. I'm going to text you. But final takes, man. Biggest winner overall on the day. The winner of the day had to be Monroe Freeland, hands down, winner of the day. Biggest loser of the day, I really don't think there was a big loser on the day. If anybody's draft stock fell the most, it was probably maybe Blake Miller out of my top 10 tackles. So I got to go through my tackles, and he might be out of my top. But he's still a solid guy. I just think that others might have surpassed him. Sleeper name. Man. Whew. Sleeper name. On the offensive line, I'm going to go with Logan Jones. I think the Niners can get them a center in this draft. Logan Jones would be that sleeper guy that I think the Niners can go after and get. He ran a 4.9 in this draft, and that was the highest for the centers. And I think that would be perfect for the Niners. He had a 1.75 split as well. 1.75 split, 32-inch vertical, 9-foot, 2-inch broad jump. So Logan Jones, that'll be a sleeper name. You're gonna start hearing that name a lot more from me And as far as if I had to pick an offensive lineman that I think that the 49ers would target on day one at pick 27. Whew. Depending on availability, I'm hoping no one takes Monroe Freeland because that's the guy. Monroe Freeland would be the guy. Based off of who tested today, it would be Monroe Freeland. I do like Vega, but Vega or Freeland, one of those two dudes, or Fano. This is tough. Give me one of them three guys. I'm good to go. One of those three guys, I'm good to go. All right. If today proved anything, it proved that the trenches still win championships. The Niners couldn't sustain their playoff run because they couldn't block in the trenches. Niners are going to address the trenches this year. I'm 100% sure. Whether it's via free agency, whether it's in the draft. Make sure you guys like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment on them replays, man. Comment on the replay. I want to get y'all thoughts, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the Wayne Breezie Show. Thanks for rocking out with me on Sunday's edition. We just wrapped up the NFL Combine. Love y'all. Keep it faithful to the Bay.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.